going to school in Port Neches, definitely a small town. It's definitely just one of those small towns, you know, where sports is everything. Friday Night Lights is definitely real.
The community there was very embracing. Pretty much everybody knows everybody. On Friday night, you wouldn't find one person at home. They were all at the football games.
We heard about him in elementary school, and so he had moved in, and I think he was dominating the playground, I really do. And so I think he was doing a really good job, and some of the elementary school teachers had told us, hey, there's a really special athlete that has moved in here in second grade. And so that's the first time that I ever heard of Roschon Johnson.
He's got a seam, he's gone. And that's what you got to watch with Roschon Johnson, lightning in a bottle.
His mom sent me a picture when he was a little kid and he's sleeping with the football at the dinner table. It's wrong. But see, when you think about it, it starts when they're young and how they raised them. The some gun is different, man. I sit here and tell you that, but you have to be around them to really understand it. I've been around some guys that may have been more talented, but nobody's been gifted like Ro in that way.
He's been talking about football since he's probably 8, 9 years old, going to NFL. And I would tell him something, boy, you know you got more brain surgeons. And the likelihood of you becoming a brain surgeon than a football player, but we'll go after it.
He used to jump the gate to go practice at the high school. A lot of people didn't know that. I've actually went with him one time and jumped the gate myself.
I would pull in the parking lot about 6:15, and Roschon would be out on the turf pulling a sled at 5:30 in the morning. So he had already been working out for 45 minutes. You're motivating us, you know, let's make this easy. Let me give you a key.
They always had the fence locked, the gate locked, so I would, you know, jump it. I remember to this day, you know, being at the field at 5 or 6 in the morning, you know, waking up to run sleds, get a lift in before school or something like that, like just doing extra.
He's just a determined football player. He invests like he's from the old school. You know, he doesn't get caught up in the fluff of the game. He's all the way down to the bare essence of the game.
We had played a playoff game his sophomore year, and I love this story. And we won the playoff game, and Roschon played really, really well. A lot of touchdowns, a lot of yards. And we game plan on Sunday evenings for the next week. And so coaches are in the field house game planning, and I see somebody out on the turf, and it's getting kind of dark. And I can't tell who it is, and so I walk out there on the turf, and it's Roschon. He's got the 3-pocket, and he's throwing into it. And I walked out there, you know, hey, what are you doing? You know, we have practice tomorrow, it's late, you had a great game Friday night. He said, I didn't like the out route that I threw in the third quarter, so I'm gonna throw 25 of them, then I'm gonna go home. And so, you know, when you see a young man like that, I mean, he's, you know, 15, 16 years old, who has that kind of work ethic, that kind of drive, who had played a great game, but still found an area to improve on. I think, you know, as a coach, you stand there and you go, man, this guy's different, this guy's special, this guy's got what it takes to be really successful in this game.
Johnson takes the snap. Quarterback draw, looking for his hole up the middle, and there he goes. Johnson breaks free. One guy to beat. Touchdown, Roschon Johnson.
Yeah. I know what I want. I know what I want.
The greatest attribute about Roschon is his humility. He doesn't let success go to his head. Humble, stays hardworking. I never knew who recruited him until he got home. People would come and tell me about Roschon, but he never mentioned all the teams, colleges that were recruiting him. I had to almost pull it out of him because it just, I guess that was one of his methods of keeping humble. I love that about him, you know, never lost who he was.
He has been playing football since he was 3 years old, just on the sidelines at his brother's games. His brothers helped to push him because they both are older, so he had to meet their expectations to keep up with them. As the baby brother, it's sometimes things you have to do to hang out with your big brothers. So that pushed him to be on their level.
They played a huge impact on me, and I don't think they even really, I mean, I'm pretty sure they realized it, but I don't think they really realized, you know, they weren't easy on me at all. It was hard to win anything, but yeah, it definitely helped me.
He was like 3 years old and he's playing in the front yard with his big brothers, two big brothers, JJ and Dorian. JJ 5 years older than Roschon. Dorian was about 10 years older than Roschon. And he was out there at 3 years old, one arm around this ankle of his big brother and the other feet like scissors, you know, tackling him. So he's always had this love to play football.
From the oldest, you know, his love for the game, him always being a big fan of the game. So us just kind of always being around the game and him just kind of talking about it, as well as my second oldest, with him kind of being closer to me in age. We never really got to play on the same team, but we always kind of, you know, played in the front yard.
I'm gonna expose his nickname. Maybe he can make some money off of this, but his nickname is Suge, and he's gonna hate me for that. He's gonna be so mad at me, you know, but Suge, I mean, it's everything of that word. He is a very gentle man who is very compassionate and caring for people.
That's a nickname my grandma gave to me. She told me I used to like give people sugar when I was like a baby, a little taller. So like I would just go around kissing people. So they just called me Suge.
People matter to him. He's, you know, their feelings and their emotions matter to him. And it really forces him to, you know, to be this unselfish guy that is always committing himself to others.
Everybody talks about football. Roschon is a student athlete. He was a student athlete. And he did a lot of things outside of football. 4.0
GPA, never made a B. I can't say that myself, but man, Roschon was awesome. A great student, and I think that's part of his greatness in my mind is he wasn't just great on the field. He's great off the field.
I think it was just important for me to just not slouch in the classroom. My dad always told me how you do anything is how you do everything. So when it came to schoolwork, that was something that he didn't play about and that I wasn't gonna play around with. So yeah, I just made it a priority and ultimately a competition with him, like I said, within myself to, you know, make all A's every time and just continue that all throughout grade school.
I realized how focused he was with getting his degree when he decided to take classes during the summer from a community college. So he wanted to make sure that he finished his degree. That was one of his main things, and he actually did it in 3 years.
Seeing both my parents be business owners, seeing both of them, you know, just working all day long and just kind of coming home and still, you know, providing for me and making a way for me, I think that definitely inspired me to go hard in whatever I wanted to do.
And you could just, you know, look back in his life in every phase of his life, from, you know, being a junior who gets admitted into, you know, the business school at the University of Texas, and not only that, graduates with honors and all that stuff, man. That's the kind of person you're talking about in Roschon.
That guy there is somebody who, as a coach, I can see myself looking up to. It makes me want to work harder. And when you get football players like that, it makes you want to be an even better coach.
We got to be better than these dudes today. Let's work. Set, go. Go. Hell yeah, Roschon, let's keep going.
Do you give as good as you get? And that's who he is. Everything that he gets, he gives more.
It made me a better coach just by seeing how hard he worked. It made his teammates better. He left an imprint on my coaching career that I'll never forget, and he's the standard. I mean, for my coaching career, whoever I coach in the future, the standard is Roschon Johnson.
Roschon Johnson didn't complain one time about his position. He was an ultimate pro on how he took care of his body. The culture for the football team was set, and he's the one that set it. When you are that type of character, his character, and not aside from being a football player, that's what really is what it's really about. Kids that do really well in college and do well in the pros, they have their degrees. They're culture guys. And when NFL scouts, when executives come and ask about them, they know how they play. The other part and who he is as a person, that's what they're trying to get to know.
Always put God first. You know, Roschon did things the old-fashioned way, hard work. We don't come from a family, a pedigree of super athletes like he is. We just come from cut from a stock of men that just work hard. work hard and work honest, and we get results.
This is a generation of instant gratification, you know, and everybody's out for themselves. And, you know, you got a young man like Roschon who does not worry about the end result for himself. He's just going to put in the work daily and reap the benefits of that.
Roschon's smooth too. Roschon's gonna be good. He's gonna be a good player. He's a smoother athlete than I thought he was gonna be. He's efficient, catches it well. He'll be fun. Yeah, no, absolutely. Like focus.
And for that makes him, you know, a blue collar mindset that's going to thrive over time, because he's not gonna ever forget what is getting him the opportunities that's presented to him right now.
I feel like because he's determined, he's focused, he's mentally preparing himself for the future.
I let that, you know, motivate me to be an inspiration to the next young kid coming out of the 409, whether it be Port Arthur, Beaumont, Orange, all those cities down there. That if you put your mind to it, ultimately you can end up in, you know, the situation you want to. So yeah, I mean, I let that be, you know, a motivator for me for sure.